one of the ways that we can sort of assess if we're doing our job is by seeing what students go on to after they leave Lewis and Clark.
I really am just struck by how lucky I was to be in an environment that really fostered growth and scientific thought in an extremely supportive yet scientifically rigorous environment. And specifically as a woman, I can't emphasize how important that is, and I feel really lucky.
You know, I think Lewis and Clark really did. It gave me a foundation. It gave me the foundation to both become a mature scientist, to learn how to ask questions, how to be open to all the information that is out there, and to really question things that are statements, things you read in a textbook.
Young scientists these days tend to think more out of the box. They have tremendous access to information and can cross scientific fields more easily, which is a key enabler to innovation.
The love of learning and asking the next question and being able to take those nuggets that you found and really go the next step and ask, okay, so why is this happening? What's the greater context here? And the curiosity. And I think that's another thing that Lewis and Clark continued to instill in all of us.
In the future, I'd like to have my own lab studying the neural mechanisms underlying behavior. And this is really something that started at Lewis and Clark.
I now work at Transcriptic, where our goal is to turn biology into an information technology powered by automation.
I think the most inspiring time for me was taking molecular biology with Dr. Deborah Lycan. It was the first time I got to read primary literature and work through designing my own experiments, and I think I learned so much about critical thinking.
I think the approach that Lewis and Clark took early on of putting us in groups and forcing us to work with people and to see differences in opinion, to take all that and turn it into something that could be useful for whatever that project was. It's a lot of the same skills I took once I was on the business side.
Lewis and Clark prepared me in ways that I can hardly even define. I started working in science the year after I graduated from Lewis and Clark, and I have never stopped, and I was 22 years old when I started doing that. The reason Lewis and Clark is such a great place is it has fantastic faculty who care about you. You can't hide. The expectation is that you as a student will be there to contribute to that whole learning environment.
And I'm continuing the work that I got interested in at Lewis and Clark, looking at how we can use nanotechnology and nanomaterials to solve environmental problems. So I'm specifically looking at metal recycling and trying to improve the sustainability of electronics.
So currently I'm a first-year medical student at OHSU, and my science foundation from Lewis and Clark, as well as the extensive research experience I had, has well prepared me for the academic challenges of medical school and the rigor that's to come in this career path I've chosen.
My defining moment at Lewis and Clark was when I realized that science doesn't have to be done in a lab. The research that I do is directly used by engineers and planners to help them create cities that are rich in biodiversity.
Using technology, having technology at your fingertips, and the newest technology, the things that you need to know how to use so that you can go into your field and not be kind of behind, that's important and needs to be invested in.
Lewis and Clark is a place for true exploration. It's a place for true exploration both in academics as well as personal growth. We are the pioneers after all. It is about exploration, and I think a big part of that played a role in my education.
I owe all of this to the initial encouragement I received at Lewis and Clark, and I'm so grateful that I had exposure to young female professors who could inspire me to do science. Thank you, Elsie.